so streaky still. What in the world? Hi, Janie. Hello, Jackson, Kelly. Hello. I was out putting gas. Yeah, just cleaning my windshield and putting fuel. Trying to get my windshield to stop being blurry. How are you guys? Guess I'm gonna go in and get a drink before I take off to work. Guess I better put on my shoes. Even though I hate driving with them. Give me one sec. Check something. What the hell? Man, that seemed like forever. Just trying to get coffee and gas. The cashier girl's very slow. That, huh? What's up?
graveyards with thousands of them. And you know where most of them, and you're calling from Tennessee, right?
Yes.
Most of them were found there in Tennessee.
You gotta be
Yeah,
kidding
you were the dwarf burial ground capital of the world in Tennessee.
Do you know what cities?
Not off the top of my head. Caney Fork comes to mind. Have you ever heard of that river?
No, I haven't.
That around. But yeah, there was a lot of them found down there. And in some cases, they were buried with giants. An 8-foot man buried next to a 2.5-foot man. So, yeah.
Alright, let me ask you this. Were giants and the dwarfs and the fairies all cast down by God?
That's what the Book of Enoch says, yes. And, yeah, and they, the same story. Earthbound spirit, evil, sometimes demonic, but, yeah, something you don't run into. And they inhabit the mounds. So the giants around the mounds, and then these fairy spirits around the mounds also.
I wonder if the locations where these dwarfs are buried are imprinted with paranormal activity.
Oh, absolutely. There's a tie-in there. One of the most haunted places in Indiana is a house that sits, within 50 yards of a hinge group called Mount State Park. Paranormal investigators are always there, and I'm always just kind of upset. It's like, wow, they're not putting it together. It's this Humber family. It's not the Humber family. It's like you are in a portal right there. What's coming through that? That's the problem with it. You don't know what's coming through. But a lot of times it's not good. So I'm real interested, and I've kind of reached out to some ways. I kind of want to do it on my own. Some ways I'm scared to do it on my own. But I would really love for a paranormal group to go with me, and I'll take them to some spots and do some investigations, because I really think this is going to be the next chapter in paranormal investigations in this country.
Well, I have thousands that listen to this show, so I'm sure someone will take them up on the offer. I want to ask.
So much more involved in that. And, when you go to the landscape around these, where a lot of times there's springs that are right there. Well, springs are, again, associated with the underworld. They're portals into the underworld. A lot of places you'll go, there'll be springs that'll be high in iron oxides. Again, that's kind of a clue to the Earth Mother and the underworld. And so the landscape, the mound, knowing the history behind the mound, knowing why the mound was built. When I first was going, the first 10 mounds that I found, we would go and we would talk about, we would be there and you would get goosebumps. Your hair would kind of stand up on the back of your neck and go. We were always going to talk about, it's like, why do we go? And it's like, I'm always creeped out when I go to one of these sites. And my fellow researcher, she would say, dude, she'd be like, I don't know what it is. Because we were just going to an ancient burial, but, early on, we just didn't know all of the baggage that kind of went up with that. So I think really it's the paranormal aspect that's involved in these sites that really changed everything about what I thought about what I was doing.
Rich, one last question. Is there a push to have the existence of giants disclosed to the public?
I think there always has been. I don't know any more now. There's more giants books coming out all the time, and then there's more, pushback on whether or not they're real. Sometimes, some of these books are being published, and there's reports of 18-foot giants. Well, those aren't true. The largest one was 9.5 foot. There was 5 of them that were all 9.5 foot. Interesting story about that. That was in Coshocton County, also a place where a giant and a small little dwarf was buried. But it was in their county history, and they found 5 giants all around 9.5 foot tall. And they were so worried that future generations would not believe them that they signed a document that here on this day, all these people signed it, that they found these giants, they were measured, this is how much they were measured, this was witnessed by some other guy in the county. And, that they went to that length to say, this was really true. There's people that are anti-Bible and, excuse me, so you have that. You have the intellectuals at the universities, of course, they dismiss all that. So, yeah, but it's no more now than what it ever was. Probably more so now, maybe, just because there's more people that are doing it than have ever been before. So that's kind of a tough one.
Well, Fritz, this has been a fascinating discussion. I want to give you an opportunity now to tell our listeners where they can find more information about you.
Well, to get the books, it's on Amazon. Nephilim Chronicles Fallen Angels was my first book. So that's all the information about the Amorites coming over here. All the evidence that I found that they did in fact come over here. Definitely the Dakota Sioux and their involvement in the Ohio Valley is in that book. The dwarves and all that, that's in the encyclopedia with more information and, more of information that I found in the 5 years between the books. And then if you want to go to these sites, I have 222 and the Nephilim Chronicles, a travel guide to the ancient ruins. So 5 states, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, all the sites in Ohio that the Ohio Historical Society have put as address restricted. I listed that, so now you know where basically everything is. And so it's a real opportunity, but there's so many of these sites that are open to the public. A great hike, waterfalls, beautiful scenery. So, you can go, hopefully you do paranormal investigation at some of these sites. Being careful, of course, and having some sort of protection when you do it. But yeah, those 3 books I have. I'm working on Ancient American Mysteries right now. That should be out in about a month and a half. And, in Tennessee, where you're at, interesting enough. So, stuff that I have found over the years that really didn't pertain to giants is going to be in that book. Like down in Tennessee, and I was just looking at this, I wish I could tell you the city this is by, but there was a cave, and there was a round stone, like they described Jesus' tomb, and then when, they bury him, and they roll this rock in front of the cave. They described was in Tennessee that there was this perfectly round disc that was put in front of this cave. That's going to be in the next book. And then hopefully this winter I'm going to do field work and I'm going to go to these sites and see if I can find them. But that'll be Ancient American Mysteries, and that'll be out sometime, maybe April or May.
I will definitely love to have you back on the show to discuss that book, and I do appreciate your time, Fritz, coming on Mysterious Radio.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
To find out more about our guest and all others, please visit our website at mysteriousradio.com. And I want to give special thanks to our co-creator and executive producer, Kim Kyle, who brought this show to you today. And working hard behind the scenes, our team of 4, I want to thank them as well. Follow us on social media and share the show with others that may like the subjects that we cover. I am your host, K-Town, and you're listening to Mysterious Radio.
How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1, go to jumbacasino.com.
Jumbacasino.com. Got it.
Step 2, collect your welcome bonus.
Come to taco welcome bonus.
Step 3, play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games, all for free.
Step 4, unleash your excitement. Casino has been delivering rooms for over a decade, so claim your welcome bonus now and live the Jumbo life. Visit jumbacasino.com.
Is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to chumbacasino.com. It's like having a mini
Everyone wants a joyful holiday. The truth is, holidays can be tough. For many, this season of good cheer also brings loneliness, grief, and stress. If you or someone you know is struggling, you are not alone. A simple gesture of support, whether it's a text, a call, or visit, can make all the difference. Reach out to those who might need help and let them know that they matter this season and every day. For resources, visit liveonyourtalk.org. That's liveonyourtalk.org. Stay strong.
City Creek Mortgage knows that debt sucks. Let's get you out. Credit card balances, student loans, HELOCs, car loans, medical debt. These payments can be crushing. The good news is that the equity in your home has definitely gone up, which means that you can use your equity to pay off these debts, lower your monthly payment, and get rid of all that stress. Let Mortgage Mike and City Creek Mortgage explore your debt relief options with you. Go to citycreekmortgage.com or call 801-900-HOME. City Creek Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 85855 and number 79053. Think you're being helpful if you share prescriptions, that you're sharing your concern, but what you're really sharing are things you never intended. Severe allergic reactions, serious interactions with other drugs or supplements you didn't know your friend or family member was taking, complications from pregnancy that hasn't been announced yet, categorization of your condition. So please share your compassion, just never share your notes. Learn more at mortgagescript.org. City Creek Mortgage knows that debt sucks. Let's get you out. Credit card balances, student loans, HELOCs, car loans, medical debt. These payments can be crushing. The good news is that the equity in your home has definitely gone up, which means that you can use your equity to pay off these debts, lower your monthly payment, and get rid of all that stress. Let Mortgage Mike and City Creek Mortgage explore your debt relief options with you. Go to citycreekmortgage.com or call 801-900-HOME. City Creek Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 85855 and number 79053. Maybe you think you're being helpful if you share prescriptions, but you're sharing your concern. But what you're really sharing are things you never intended. Severe allergic reactions, serious interactions with other friend or family member was taking, complications from pregnancy that hasn't been announced yet, categorization of your condition. So please share your compassion, just never share your notes. Learn more at mortgagescript.org.
At Smith's, an annual Boost membership just got even better. Now you can choose from Disney Plus with ads, Hulu with ads, or ESPN Plus on us when you sign up. Plus, enjoy unlimited free delivery, double fuel points, exclusive offers, and free items. Sign up for a Boost membership today. It's an easier way to save, including new streaming options to relax with while we deliver your groceries. Smith's, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Hi there, I'm KJ, and I'm listening to Mysterious Radio. Strange creature sightings. First up, an alien creature spotted by motorists in Indiana, January 24th, 2004, Manchester, Indiana, 7:30 p.m. A 17-year-old motorist traveling almost 10 miles north of Aurora, Indiana, on a Saturday night claims to have encountered an unusual figure on the road while driving his black Chevrolet Cavalier southbound along North Hogan Road. A figure was spotted in the headlights of the automobile as it was crouched down near a puddle of water. From the driver's perspective, the figure was spotted out the windshield on the right of the car. After passing the frail-looking figure, the driver looked into his rearview mirror and again observed, illuminated by the taillights of his car, what he described as a tall, abnormal figure that moved strangely with pointed joints that buckled out. He estimated the figure stood around 6 feet, 7 inches. It had protruding joints and moved very strangely. The driver said he was able to ascertain the figure, alleged to be dark gray or black and pencil thin, stand up and take several steps toward the woods along the roadside. The figure definitely walked on two somehow to be a male, although no clothing was noted. No face or eyes could be seen, but the witness had the impression that the figure was looking at him. The figure was immediately thought to be something out of the ordinary, not a human being. The duration of the sighting was hurried and possibly within the 3 to 4 second range. The driver continued on for a small distance after passing the figure and finally put on his brakes, coming to a stop at an estimated 2-minute walking distance on the road from the location of the sighting. He looked back to further observe the entity. At that point, a second car came into view and approached from the opposite direction, passed, and then reached the spot on the road where the figure was thought to be. The 17-year-old motorist reportedly watched closely and observed the second car undertake what he thought to be an evasive maneuver near the vicinity of where he thought the figure would be situated, and then the car turned around at that spot and shortly pulled up behind him, somewhat in the grass. There was an elderly couple in the car, both in their late 60s or early 70s, and both with gray hair. The driver, who wore glasses, said, "Boy, did you see something back there? I'll tell you right now, that was no person." The passenger, an elderly female, said, "It was no human being. It was no man." The elderly couple was reportedly spooked, but offered to follow the first witness the remainder of the trip down North Hogan Road, clearly in the opposite direction of their intended destination route. It was thought that the elderly couple observed this same figure on the opposite side of the road and possibly had observed it more closely. Later, the 17-year-old witness was said to have become hysterical and within an hour was describing the figure as an alien. Next, a mysterious alien encounter in Turkey. The alien encounter incident took place in 2001. 3 villagers, Fevzi Khan, his wife Selma Khan, and their neighbor Aysel Topologlu from Narli village in Esme district of the city Usak, woke up early in the morning to hoe their tobacco farm. It was about 7 in the morning. They got on the tractor as they would always do, but on the way they saw something 30 centimeters above the ground on a farm they were passing by. The thing was about 15 meters away from them. First, they did nothing but kept on driving. But as they drove, the being started to follow them on the same direction, still keeping the 15 meters distance in between. That was when the villagers got puzzled, and Fevzi Khan stopped the tractor and got off it to look closer what that was. The being started to rise in the air and approach towards them. It stopped about 2 meters away from Mr. Khan and hovered about 5 meters above the ground. The thing was completely silent. No wings or no propellers were apparent. There wasn't any noise of an engine either, but it was in the air. Mr. Khan was astonished and confused by what he was looking at. So he thought of throwing a stone at it, thinking maybe he could drop it down and examine it closer. As soon as he had the thought of throwing a stone at it, the being started to rise in the air. Mr. Khan threw a few stones at it, but all missed. The being rose about 5 meters, then started to fly to the opposite side, all time facing the witnesses, and went away. The villagers told that the being they saw was about 60 to 70 centimeters tall, wearing a bright gelatin-like suit with an orangish, reddish bright light in the belly part. It had an elliptical head and red-colored feet. It had no arms, and the legs looked like to be attached to each other, forming a V shape. It had no ears, no nose, nor a mouth. According to the witness's testimony, the only facial detail that was apparent was its almond-shaped eyes. Right after the encounter, Mehmet Yildirim, the head official of the district, and told him about their encounter.
Sandy Creek Mortgage knows that debt sucks. Let's get you out.
Yeah, of course it goes to an ad.
Over the past 75 years, more than 10,000 chemicals have entered our food supply, but the EU allows just 300 additives. At Thrive Market, we prioritize quality and over 1,000 ingredients found in conventional grocery stores. Our Healthy Swap scanner helps you find better versions of your pantry essentials without the junk, dyes, or fillers, and everything's delivered right to your doorstep. So shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health at thrivemarket.com/getstarted for 30% off your first order and a free $60 gift. Every idea starts with a problem. Warby Parker's was simple. Glasses are too expensive. So, they set out to change that. By designing glasses in-house and selling directly to customers, they're able to offer prescription eyewear that's expertly crafted and unexpectedly affordable. Warby Parker glasses are made from premium materials like impact-resistant polycarbonate and custom acetate, and they start at just $95, including prescription lenses. Get glasses made from the good stuff. Stop by a Warby Parker store near you. Mortgage knows that debt sucks. Let's get you out. Medicare balances, loans, HELOCs, car loans, medical debt, lease payments, and depression. The thing is that the equity in your home is definitely done, which means that you can use your equity and pay off those debts. You don't have to payment and clear all that stress. Let Mortgage America and Secret Mortgage explore your debt relief options with you. Go to secretmortgage.com or call 801-900-HOME. Secret Mortgage is an equal housing lender and NMLS number 85855 and number 79053. Most weight loss plans are one size fits all, not taking into account each person's individual needs. Noom is here to change that. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, which also affect weight loss success. The program helps you understand the science behind your eating choices and why you have cravings. Everyone's journey is different, so your daily lessons are personalized to you and your goals. One of the great things about Noom is that it's nourishing instead of restrictive. They focus on progress instead of perfection. You don't have to give up carbs or anything for that matter. Have cravings? With FOMO? Noom can help you lose weight while still enjoying your favorite foods. Today, Noom has helped more than 5.2 million people lose weight. Stay focused on what's important to you. With Noom's psychology and biology-based approach, sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. That's NOOM.com.
Turn the camera around. Okay. Just
Notified the governor Ahern Second right away. A security meeting took place, and the bulletin, including a sketch of the alien, was distributed to the head official of the district, security superiors, and gendarme commanders. The combination UFO/entity was never seen again, which is remarkable when you consider the government's response to the report. Can you imagine anyone in the U.S. reporting that story to their local government official, and the local official reporting it to the governor? Then the governor holding a security meeting, then alerting all the security personnel and gendarmes in the district to watch for a peculiar little floating entity in a gelatin suit who can predict when someone is about to throw a stone at it. My guess is that that would never happen in the U.S. Next on October 23rd, 1965. Location: 4 miles east of Long Prairie, Minnesota. James Townsend, 19, a Long Prairie, Minnesota radio announcer, had a close encounter with a UFO and three creatures about 7:15 p.m. on October 23, 1965, on a blacktop road about 4 miles east of Long Prairie, as he was driving his 1956 model car around a curve in the road. The announcer for radio station Key L said that as he came around the curve, he saw an upright, rocket-like object straddling the road. It was about 30 or 40 feet high and about 10 feet in diameter and seemed to be resting on legs or fins. He said, "My car engine stalled. The lights and radio went out and I slammed on my brakes. I stopped about 20 feet in front of me. My first thought was to knock it over with the car so I could have some evidence, but the engine was stalled. Then I got out with the idea of trying to push it over by hand. When I got to the front of my car, three creatures that looked like individual tin cans on tripods and were 6 inches tall came from behind the rocket. They didn't have eyes that I could see, but I knew they were looking at me. I stopped. I didn't have any desire to get closer. There was no sound, just dead silence. It seemed like ages as we looked at each other. Then they went up into the rocket, which had a bright, colorless light glowing out of the bottom. There was a loud hum. The rocket went up and disappeared. When the light on the bottom went out after it was in the air, my car radio and light came on, and my engine started without having to touch the starter. Townsend said his car has an automatic transmission, and he had placed the selector lever in park. Townsend, a non-drinker, said his heart was pounding and his legs were like rubber. I drove 90 miles an hour back to Long Prairie to report what I saw, but I wondered if people would believe me. I was sure of two things. The rocket, it towered above the trees along the road, was a spaceship of some kind, and the three objects that came out of it were creatures like nothing else in the animal world I have ever seen. They definitely were not people as I know them. Townsend said the rocket ship took off, looking just like a flashlight that is turned on and then lifted up from the table with a light at the bottom. Several hunters in the Long Prairie area claim to have seen a strong light above them that lit up the ground that night. Other hunters reported seeing a lighted object circle around and around over their farm. To find out more about our guest and all others, please visit our website at mysteriousradio.com. And I want to give special thanks to our co-creator and executive producer, Kim Kyle, who brought this show to you today. And working hard behind the scenes, our team of 4, I want to thank them as well. Follow us on social media and share the show with others that may like the subjects that we cover. I am your host, K-Town, and you're listening to Mysterious Radio.
Cedar Creek Mortgage knows that debt sucks. Let's get you out. Credit card balances, student loans, HELOCs, car loans, medical debt. These payments can be crushing. The good news is that the equity in your home has definitely gone up, which means that you can use your equity to pay off these debts, lower your monthly payment, and get rid of all that stress. Let Mortgage Mike and City Creek Mortgage explore your debt relief options with you. Go to citycreekmortgage.com or call 801-900-HOME. City Creek Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 85855 and number 79053.
You might think you're being helpful if you share prescriptions, that you're sharing a concern, but what you're really sharing are things you never intended. Severe allergic reactions, serious interactions with other drugs or supplements you didn't know your friend or family member was taking, complications for a pregnancy that hasn't even been announced yet, the wrong dosage for the wrong condition. So please share your compassion, just never share your mess. Learn more at knowyourspit.org.
This is Scott Campbell from the Stupid Things for Love podcast. I have a 7-year-old son, and the biggest mountain I climb every day is trying to put shoes on this child. And I'm so grateful to Skechers for making the only shoes my son will willingly put on by himself. Their slip-ons are amazing, and he doesn't have to deal with laces, he doesn't have to deal with anything. They come in the perfect color blue. Thank you, Skechers, the comfort technology company. And you can find Skechers everywhere. Skechers.com, a Skechers store, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
You might think you're being helpful if you share prescriptions, that you're sharing a concern, but what you're really sharing are things you never intended. Severe allergic reactions, serious interactions with other drugs or supplements you didn't know your friend or family member was taking, complications for a pregnancy that hasn't even been announced yet, the wrong dosage for the wrong condition. So please share your compassion. Just never share the mess. Learn more at knowyourscript.org.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC now recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, Brad Strong here. Your car holds space for people, for laughter, sharing thoughts, and being present. And that means your drive is about more than just the destination. It's about connection, the heart-to-heart you have, and listening ear you lend to the people in your passenger seat. When you hold space for people showing support and understanding, they're more likely to open up to you when life takes unexpected turns. You can help steer them towards hope. Learn how conversations can help prevent suicide for people in your life. Visit liveonutah.org.
A message from Strong Auto Group.
Hi, Brad Strong here with an important message from Live on Utah. As the new year approaches, why not make a resolution that's easy to keep and makes a big difference? Take the Live on Utah playbook. You'll learn how to help someone in crisis or struggling with thoughts of suicide. Plus, you can share this resolution with others, creating a community of support. To get started, visit liveonutah.org. That's liveonutah.org.
Supported by the Strong Auto Group.
89% of business leaders say AI is a top priority. But with AI tools popping up everywhere, how do you separate the helpful from the hype? The right choice is crucial, which is why teams at 1/3 of Fortune 500 companies use Grammarly. With over 15 years of experience building responsible, secure AI, Grammarly isn't just another AI communication assistant. It's how companies like yours increase productivity while keeping data protected and private. Designed to fit the needs of business, Grammarly is backed by a user-first privacy policy and industry-leading security credentials. This means you won't have to worry about the safety of your company information. Grammarly also emphasizes responsible AI, so your company can avoid harmful bias. See why 70,000 teams and 30 million people trust Grammarly at grammarly.com/enterprise. That's grammarly.com/enterprise. Grammarly, enterprise-ready AI.
Radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer among non-smokers. This is Carrie Robbins' story.
The oncologist tells me that I have stage 4 non-smoking lung cancer. He goes, have you had your home tested for radon? And I said, didn't know I needed to. I would have never ever dreamed that this could happen to me. I didn't know anything about radon. But let me tell you, it's very real.
Get a free radon test kit at utahradon.org. That's utahradon.org.
Weight loss. It needs to be fast and sustainable. Noom GLP-1 starts at just $149 and ships to your door in 7 days. Take it from Marcos, who's loving his journey with Noom GLP-1.
I'm getting to where I want to be. I'm in such a good place right now, and I'm very confident that I'm going to be able to continue this weight loss, this journey, and really make a true lifestyle change.
Don't believe it? Take it from Cam, who's gaining more confidence with Noom GLP-1.
I really am starting to feel better. Like, I feel a lot lighter, I feel a lot happier, I feel a lot more confident. I just feel a lot more like myself. I don't feel so bogged down every day.
$149 GLP-1s? Now that's Noom Smart. Noom, smart way to lose weight. Get started with Noom GLP-1 at Noom.com. That's Noom.com. Real Noom users compensated to provide their story. Individual results may vary. Not all customers will medically qualify for prescription medications. Compounded medications are not reviewed by the FDA for safety, efficacy, or quality.
You might think you're being helpful if you share prescriptions, but you're sharing your concern. But what you're
Man,
really
how many
sharing
times
are
have to hear
things
this
you never
ad?
intended. Severe allergic reactions, serious interactions with other drugs or supplements you didn't know your friend or family member was taking, complications for a pregnancy that hasn't even been announced yet, the wrong dosage for the wrong condition. So please share your compassion, just never share your meds. Learn more at knowyourscript.org.
Hi there, I'm K-Town, and on this edition of Mysterious Radio. The Lonely Hearts Killers. The Lonely Hearts Killers, Martha Beck and Raymond Martinez Fernandez, are executed in the electric chair at Sing Sing Prison in New York. The strange couple had schemed to seduce, rob, and murder women who placed personal ads in newspapers. Beck and Fernandez boasted to killing as many as 17 women in this manner, but evidence suggests that there may have been only 4 victims. Martha Beck was an extremely overweight and by all reports unattractive woman when she joined a Lonely Hearts Club advertised in a romance magazine. Her first letter came from Ray Fernandez in Brooklyn after World War II. He suffered a serious head injury in an accident that left him bald and with serious headaches. He became a petty criminal and wore a cheap black toupee to cover up his baldness. He convinced himself that he had a power over women that could turn them into his sexual slaves. In 1946, Fernandez found his first mark in a Lonely Hearts Club. He dated the older woman until he had gained enough of her trust to loot her bank account. The next year, he took the latest in a line of victims to Spain, where she turned up dead in a hotel room. Fernandez responded to Beck's note with the intention of conning her, but after a brief affair, Fernandez and Beck apparently fell in love. When he confessed his original idea, Beck liked his scheme so much that she decided to join him. Over the next 2 years, Beck posed as Fernandez's sister, as he seduced older women before stealing from them. By 1949, they had murdered 1 victim and killed another, accidentally with an overdose of sleeping pills. The end came when Fernandez hooked up with a younger woman in Michigan. The woman was a bit suspicious of the brother and sister, and although she allowed them to move into her home, wouldn't marry Fernandez immediately and provide him access to her funds. When the jealous Beck got tired of waiting, the pair killed the woman and her 2-year-old daughter and buried them in the basement. Police officers, challenged by Fernandez himself, searched the home and found a makeshift grave. Beck and Fernandez confessed readily in the belief that their lives were safe in the non-capital punishment state of Michigan. But they didn't count on being extradited to New York, where the electric chair was an option. At the last minute, they attempted an insanity defense, but were unable to convince the jury. Their depraved story was the subject of a particularly sordid 1969 movie, The Honeymoon Killers. Lonely Hearts Killer. The phrase Lonely Hearts Killer, sometimes also want ad killer or matrimonial bureau murderer, is a journalistic term of art that refers to a person who commits murder by contacting a victim who has either posted advertisements to or answered advertisements via newspaper classified ads and personal or Lonely Hearts Club ads. The actual motivations of these criminals are varied. By definition, a killing will have taken place in order for the suspected, accused, or convicted perpetrator to be dubbed a want ad or a Lonely Hearts Club killer. However, the crime may have involved a simple robbery gone wrong, an elaborate insurance fraud scheme, sexual violence, or any of several other ritualized pathological impulses, necrophilia, mutilation, cannibalism, etc. Sometimes murder is not the original intent, but becomes a byproduct of rape or other struggle. In some cases, murder is committed simply to cover up the original crime. Some, on the other hand, are serial killers who utilize this method of targeting victims, either exclusively or when it suits them. Notable Lonely Hearts and Want Ad killers. The following accused and convicted murderers and serial killers are known to have used want ads, personal ads, and or matrimonial bureaus to contact their victims. Rodney Alcala, born 1943, known as the dating game killer. Harvey Carignan, born 1927, known as the want ad killer. Nanny Doss, 1905 to 1965, known as the Lonely Hearts Killer, among other names. Raymond Fernandez, 1914-1951, and Martha Beck, 1920-1951, known as the Honeymoon Killers and the Lonely Hearts Killers. Albert Fish, 1870-1936. Harvey Gladman, 1927-1959, known as the Lonely Hearts Killer. Belle Gunness, 1859-1908. She became part of American criminal folklore, a female Bluebeard. Robert Hansen, 1939-2014. Henri Desire Landreau, 1869-1922. Bobby Joe Long, born 1953, known as the classified ad rapist. Philip Markoff, 1986-2010, known as the Craigslist killer. Harry Powers, 1892-1932, known as the Lonely Hearts Killer, the Matrimonial Bureau Murderer, the West Virginia Bluebeard, and the Butcher of Clarksburg. Long before there was a Craigslist or .com dating, there were places where men and women who were too shy or busy to meet face to face could find romance, calling themselves matrimonial bureaus. These organizations were known mostly as the Lonely Hearts Clubs, and they flourished through the middle of the 20th century. Such was Detroit's American Friendship Society, which opened its doors in 1927. By 1931, it had earned more than $100,000.
Radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer among non-smokers. This is Carrie Robbins' story.
The oncologist tells me that I have stage 4 non-smoking lung cancer. He goes, have you had your home tested for radon? And I said, didn't know I needed to. I would have never ever dreamed that this could happen to me. I didn't know anything about radon. But let me tell you, it's very real.
Get a free radon test kit at utahradon.org. That's utahradon.org. Radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer among non-smokers. This is Carrie Robbins' story.
The oncologist tells me that I have stage 4 non-smoking lung cancer. He goes, have you had your home tested for radon? And I said, didn't know I needed to. I would have never ever dreamed that this could happen to me. I didn't know anything about radon. But let me tell you, it's very real.
Get a free radon test kit at utahradon.org. That's utahradon.org.
The business continued to thrive even after the country plunged into the Depression. For an annual fee, $4.95 for men, $1.95 for women. Members got a listing of available matches, mostly widows and widowers, with a description of their most attractive features, whether real or not. Among American Friendship's clients in 1931 was a man who, based upon his written profile, should have had no trouble attracting the ladies. Wealthy widower, the ad read, worth $150,000, has income from $400 to $2,000 a month. His profession was listed as civil engineer. Own a beautiful 10-room brick home, completely furnished with everything that would make a good woman happy. My wife would have her own car and plenty of spending money. Would have nothing to do but enjoy herself. Cooler heads might have figured this was too good to be true, but not Asta Eicher, 50, a Chicago widow with 3 children. Greta, 14, Harry, 12, and Annabelle, 9. Iker's husband, a silversmith, had died 8 years earlier, and since his death, she had dedicated herself to raising her family. In a flash, they disappeared. In July 1931, for the first time in years, she had told friends that romance had again entered her life. But other than her new love's name, Mr. Pearson, she offered few details. That same month, she asked William O'Boyle, a boarder, to find another place to live. The excuse she gave was that the pudgy, pig-faced little Pearson, who had been hanging around the house for weeks, was moving in. Then, she and her children disappeared. No one paid much attention until August, when O'Boyle went back to Iker's house to pick up some tools he had left behind. Iker and her children were gone, but the man O'Boyle knew as Pearson was there, and he was emptying the house. O'Boyle called police, who asked the stranger about the missing family. The man introduced himself as Cornelius O. Pearson of the Fairmont Hotel Fairmont, W.V. The Ikers, he said, had moved to Colorado and had left him behind to settle their affairs. He produced a letter that appeared to be in Iker's handwriting, saying he had paid her property taxes and mortgage, and that he should tidy up the house to prepare it for renters. But when he could offer no real details on the whereabouts of the family, police decided to probe a little more. No one in Fairmont, West Virginia had ever heard of him, and it seemed that the trail was about to go cold. Then investigations at Iker's house yielded a few clues in the form of love letters. The letters led them to a small property near a West Virginia hamlet called Quiet Dell, where Pearson lived under the name Harry Powers with his wife of 4 years, Luella. It would soon become known as the Murder Farm. Powers insisted that the Ikers had gone west, but then just a few seconds later, he sputtered that the widow had traveled with him to West Virginia. The conflicting stories raised suspicions, so detectives kept sniffing around. They learned that 2 months earlier, Powers had built a garage on the property. When they took a look inside, they found jewelry, clothes, and other items that had belonged to Iker. Soon after that, the widow and her children were found. On August 28th, police dug up 4 corpses, wrapped in burlap sacks and buried in a shallow grave. A day later, they found the body of another woman in the garage. She would later be identified as Dorothy Lemke, 50, a divorcee from Northborough, Massachusetts. Like Iker, Lemke had gone missing in July. So many victims inside Powers' home. There was a trunk load of correspondence from more than 100 love-starved widows and spinsters from all over the country. Letters and photos found in the trunk suggested that he had been operating as a love racketeer for more than a decade. A roll of film left in a camera was developed, yielding images of Lemke and Powers together after a brutal grilling by police.
Radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer among non-smokers. This is Carrie Robbins' story.
The oncologist tells me that I have stage 4 non-smoking lung cancer. He goes, have you had your home tested for radon? And I said, didn't know I needed to. I would have never ever dreamed that this could happen to me. I didn't know anything about radon. But let me tell you, it's very real.
Get a free radon test kit at utahradon.org. That's utahradon.org.
Powers confessed to the 5 murders. After promising marriage, he had driven Iker and her kids from Chicago to his farm. He locked them up for a few days, then took them to a room where he had suspended a noose from the rafters. One by one, they were hanged. I was permitting little Harry Iker to watch the killing of his mother and the others, but in the middle of it, he let out an awful scream, Powers told police. I was afraid the neighbors would hear it, so I picked up a hammer and let him have it. Lemke had arrived a day after the Ikers. She was ushered into the garage, locked up, and later hanged. Digging around the farm produced no more bodies, but there was a strong suspicion that Powers had killed before. Asked once how many he had murdered, he shrugged his shoulders and muttered, "I don't know." Other women came forth with stories of how Powers had wooed them. Bessie Stores of Olean, New York, told the Associated Press that her wedding had been planned for the day that Powers had been arrested. Other women said that they emptied their bank accounts when their mail-order bridegroom proposed. As soon as he pocketed their cash, he vanished, leaving the ladies sadder and wiser, but alive. Bank accounts held by Eicher and Lemke had been cleared out just before the murders, leaving little question as to a motive. Quick conviction, then hanging. In anticipation of enormous crowds, the trial, which started on December 7, 1931, was moved from a courtroom to the 200-seat Opera House in Clarksburg. Powers seemed unconcerned as the trial opened, chewing gum and yawning through the first day. By the time he got on the stand, however, he was in tears. He said that his miserable marriage had driven him to seek out mail-order sweethearts, but he denied the killings, recanting his earlier confession. After deliberating for 1 hour and 50 minutes in the Opera House dressing room, the jury found him guilty. The penalty was death by hanging. In jail, the prisoner produced a detailed confession, and on the gallows, March 18, 1932, Powers was given the chance, as are all condemned men, to offer a last statement. But for once, the Don Juan, who had spewed out thousands of words to women all over the country, had nothing to say. No was all he uttered before the trapdoor opened, and he plunged to his death.
To find out more about our guest and all others, please visit our website at mysteriousradio.com. And I want to give special thanks to our co-creator and executive producer, Kim Kyle, who brought this show to you today. And working hard behind the scenes, our team of 4, I want to thank them as well. Follow us on social media and share the show with others that may like the subjects that we cover. I am your host, K-Town, and you're listening to Mysterious.